So in today's video, I did a walking tour of the city of Vienna. It's the capital of Austria. And the tour focused mainly on like the history and culture of the city and of Austria in general. But it was centered around like the Hofburg Palace complex, like kind of where the Austrian Habsburg Empire was ruled out of for basically 650 years. It just kind of like sprawled out for since then. And then after that, I went to the Church of St. Stephen's and I got to take a peek inside of there. And then after that, I went to the House of Music where I learned about all the great classical composers who were either born here in Vienna or Austria or were basically based here most of their life. So yeah, it was really interesting getting to see all the classic composers. And finally, I just kind of used the metro to get around, and yeah, it was a good day overall. I definitely enjoyed my time in Vienna. I hope I get a chance to see the city again because I barely scratched the surface at all, I feel. So enjoy the quick, brief tour that I have listed today. And if you've been watching this, please share, like, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. All right, so I'm doing a walking tour. I'm starting out in my hostel today, so I just want to show off some of the art that it has. It's just pretty cool. Do my best not to make it into advertising, but it's kind of cool. I don't know. This is like one of the common areas here. It's just like a pretty decorations here. It's got like a big pad. It's got a little forest here. It's definitely the weirdest IKEA. Place of the hotel and a rooftop bar in the store, basically. I guess like right above the store. It's like 3 stories IKEA, 2 stories the hostel, and the very top like kind of like a mixed-use bar. So if you're ever in Vienna, this is the place to be because look at this view. It's awesome. You can see like the whole city from up here. Check that out. It's so cool. It just goes on. Okay, this is what it looks like from my elevator. Wow. That's fun. All right, so I'm looking for the U3. So seems like, I don't know, I've been struggling in Germany, it's of all places, with finding like the public transit. Like it's kind of confusing here. All right, so gotta validate this ticket here. I got a 24-hour ticket, so it's good for 24 hours. All right, here we go. I need to go the other way. So autumn train, this is the way I don't want to go. I need to go Simmering. All right, so this is our train here, Simmering. There we go. All right, so I arrived in Steffenplatz and I'm headed to my walking tour now. I'm kind of late, so let's see if I missed it or not. All right, so I'm officially late for my thing. I guess I shouldn't have grabbed a coffee, so maybe I could update and try to get a later one, but let's see if I can catch it. Check that out. That's cool. I don't know. This is so cool. These buildings are pretty. Alright, so this is a pretty church. Look at that. That's cool. It's like very simple, but. Wow, look at these horses. They're really pretty. It's gonna be a hot day for them though. Hope there's ways to keep them cool today. Because it's a little bit warm. All right, I think I'm getting closer. I think that's my group over there in the corner. So. All right, so I'm here at the Opera House. That's the meeting point for our tour group, and I actually made it on time for my tour because luckily I thought the time was at 10, but it's actually 10:15, so I'm all checked out. But it's like super hot today. Feel bad for the horses on the street. They're like jumping in the water there. It's so nice. Look at that. Cool. So we just like learned about the growth and kind of like of the city, how it expanded beyond its walls, and the walls are eventually taken down in order to expand the city. And yeah, it was just like the fourth largest city in the world in like 1870. You're saying it surpassed like 1 million people, and actually the city at one point was larger than it is today population wise. So he said, the guide was saying that the city was actually kind of run down like 20-30 years ago, and now it's kind of booming. So there's actually a lot of immigration to the city, and the city's population is actually growing a lot now. It's kind of interesting. The guide was talking about the former UN Secretary General Kurt Waldheim, who was the Secretary General of the UN for like a couple of terms, I think in like the 70s and 80s maybe. And he ran to become president of Austria, which I think is kind of more of a ceremonial thing because they have like a prime minister. But whenever he was running for president, he had left the UN. Like they uncovered like his past during like the Nazi occupation or annexation of Austria, and what his role was in that. And I guess in the 1980s, that just caused like this fear or like this thought about what role did Austria and the people here play in the war, you know? Because ultimately everything got pinned on like the country of West Germany, which is now like the country of Germany. So they're the ones that end up having to pay all the reparations and stuff. But I guess he had actually a lot to do. He had like volunteered to be part of like the German army as like an officer and like one of the like more extreme units. I think he said it was the SI. It wasn't the SS, it was the other one, the SI or something. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. So basically, the people here decided to put up some monuments, kind of saying that Austria did have a role, and kind of people looked and started talking about what happened during the war more. So now the palace grounds of the emperor of Austro-Hungarian Empire. So yeah, these things are huge. It's like a city within a city. All right, I have a statue of Mozart, most famous composers of all time. And we're still in the park here of the royals, Habsburgs. So Vienna's always been like the city of music. It's because like the royals definitely were sponsors of it. They want to have the best and newest and coolest musicians here in the city for their entertainment. So all the greats were here, you know, Mozart, Beethoven, even foreigners like Vivaldi came here to play for like the Austro-Hungarian emperor. So I think this is called the Ringstrasse. So this is where the old like city wall used to be, but now it's like a highway. Wow, it's so cool. Going through the old gate here. So cool. It's crazy. So this is all like former like royal palace grounds. I mean, a lot of these buildings have been turned into museums, but just like insane. Just look at that. Incredible. It's the Hofburg Palace here. It's just incredible. Wow, it's incredible. So we are here, right here. So we're in the Hofburg Imperial Palace, and you could see all these are like different grounds. You can kind of like walking through. There's just like a massive complex. So the original castle was right here, and it just kind of started expanding out, and just continued into different eras, you know. And this is part of the ring road here. But yeah, like the scale of this place is like incredible. It just a castle that had cancer and just kept growing. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, the Habsburgs were in power for like 650 odd years or something like that. That's incredible to have one like sort of kind of government in control of a place for like such a long period of time, you know? It's, wow. This is just like traffic just goes through here. That's crazy. I can imagine like cars coming back in the day. I guess like Austria or like Vienna, the buildings are like sooty black because there were so many cars and they didn't have the same sort of emissions testing back in the day. So all the buildings got really blackened. So I can imagine this place is probably like filthy. So this is where they used to do the Spanish riding school for like the young Austrian nobility. So they got to learn how to use the Spanish Lipperzanner horses and do different types of riding styles with them. But it's no longer used for that. They have like one. It's not a school anymore, but they do host a show there, like every year. All right, here we go. We just left the Hofburg area. I just came out of there, so yeah, this is where they have the show here. Kind of curious, like where's the interior where the horses are? You can see some of like the old structures here. Yeah, I just gotta love the buildings here. They look incredible. I just can't imagine them being covered in black soot for like decades. It's kind of crazy. Oh, those horses as well. I'm feeling really bad for them. They're getting cooked out here. I like these old antique shops. Stuff from like back way. So cool. That's so crazy. Horse and a bus. Oh my god, that's so cool. Look at that dog. Oh my god. Yeah, so we just learned about the Heutigen wine cellars. So I guess like within the city of Vienna, there's people that still grow wine, and if you if you go to like the northern suburbs, I guess they still have like little farms and such, and that's the spot where you could get some cheap wine if you're into drinking local wines in different countries. So it's one of the few large capital cities of Europe that actually grows wine still. And if you go to the farmhouse still, it's like they get some sort of weird tax exemption, so they're able to sell it for like really cheap. Just cool. But yeah, I guess that was like a thing that occurred back in the Middle Ages, or not Middle Ages, but like hundreds of years ago. That became like a thing because like the wine growers petitioned the emperor to make it into a tax exempt status, so they were able to sell to like local people, not just the wealthy. Oh wow, it's the cathedral. It's about to be noon, so we're already starting to ring the bells, I guess. It's massive. All right, so I'm gonna do a quick walk around to the church, and then I'm gonna go in to see like the full inside. It costs €8, and to go to the top to get like a overview of the city of Vienna, it costs another €8. And this is the Church of St. Stephen's. It's probably the most like centrally located area of the city. It's like where all the metro stations kind of align. So if you get off at the St. Stephen's Metro, it's pretty easy to find this place. All right, wow. All right, cool. Looks like they're like spraying these poor horses off, so they're at least getting a cool down. I was kind of worried about them for a second. Could see them there. So they're currently in the process of cleaning this church up. You could see this is basically the color of all these buildings in Vienna were, 20, 30 years ago. The whole city looked like it was black soot because the people used to burn coal to stay warm, and then the cars didn't have exhaust regulations either. So, and there was way more cars in the past than there are now. So it's just like all the factors led up to the city just becoming heavily polluted. Well, look at they're putting shoes on that horse over there. It's pretty cool. All right, so now I'm in the front of the Church of St. Stephen's. I'm gonna try to go in. It's pretty crowded today, so. All right, so now entering the church. I'm gonna take off my hat. Yeah, so this area you have to pay €8 to get into. The queue is very long too. I'm like boiling hot. Just left the Church of St. Stephen's. It was pretty overwhelming. I guess just a lot of people in there. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go find a place to cool off because it's kind of hot right now. And this St. Stephen's area in front of the church is like really cool. It's gonna have some sort of political rally or something. I don't know. Or no, maybe it's like some sort of festival. I don't know. All right, so I am headed to the House of Music. So I kind of want to do a little exploration of the classical music era in Vienna. So mainly doing this because I think my grandma Beatrice is interested in this topic and just kind of mix it up a bit, you know? I kind of don't have a, I only have a limited time in each place, like basically like a day. So I'm going to try to change topics in the cities I'm traveling in. All right. I am close to the House of Music. It's right over there. All right, I have arrived at the House of Music. Let's learn a bit about the famous musicians here in Vienna. All right, here we go. Got myself a ticket. Fully air conditioned. This is a great option in a hot day like this. At least I don't think this little outside bit is air conditioned, but maybe it is. All right, so we're entering the music hall. House, I mean. Sorry, man, I cannot speak today. I think the heat's kind of getting to my brain more than normal. I'm not the smartest. Like, honestly, I don't know a ton about music, so everything's a learning experience, you know? Oh, wow, that's really cool. Oh, I'm like on a keyboard. Oh, no. That's so cool. All right, here's the great Ludwig van Beethoven. If you need a CD, that's a good one. There's Sean Brown. Let's look that up. Johann Strauss. So that's what it looks like on the inside there, the Vienna Philharmonic. Some famous composers, Richard Strauss, Johann Brahms. Yeah, we got the big ones here. All right, check out. Yeah, it's easy to stay, like, just watching those orchestras. They're really good. Kind of got sucked in there for a second. The Waltz Dice game. Let's check this out. This is kind of fun. You could just grab it like this. See my hand right there? Oh shoot, how's it working? There, you grab it. Boom. It's like this guy freaked me out. I was like, I thought he was a person up here. I was like, oh my god. There's some early pictures. 1885. Wow, it's incredible. Oh, what's this? Sonotopia. I'm kind of curious. Physics of sound. I don't know, I don't think these things are functioning. Symmetry. That was interesting. We're in the Klong Gallery. All right, the great composers. That's what we've all been waiting for. All right, the great composers here. So this first one is Haydn. See his face there. He worked for the Esterházys in Hungary. Beethoven. Schubert. This one is, I don't see a name on that one. Strauss. And we have Mozart. Joseph Haydn. So Mozart's travel throughout Europe. Here's what Vienna used to look like. You can see the outer fortifications there. So this is like the old city. Now all this has become like parks and such. And all the cities like interconnected now. These all used to be individual, like neighbor or towns basically.
Schubert.
So there's Strauss with Johann Brahms, another famous composer. All right, so we made it through. This is our view. I'm in the gift shop now. All right, so yeah, I think I did on quite a few activities for like the story today, and I'm gonna head back to my hostel. So it's probably gonna be it for us activity videos anyways. I'll film a little bit of me going back to the hostel, taking the metro, so enjoy that little bit. Yeah, the city put up those hydration stations. They have like little misters on them, so you can fill up your water bottles for free. That's kind of nice. All right, here on Steffenplatz station, and down. Here's some of those traditional Austrian tunes. Headed downward to the metro. All right, I'm gonna try. Well, let's see if I can get on this one. All right, made it on. All right, so I'm here at my stop. I'm actually gonna like probably wrap up the video for today. I know there's like a million things to see in this city. I only have like, basically like 36 hours of active time here. So I'm gonna do some stuff on my own. And when I do these videos, really it's like you only get to see like a fraction of what I do. And what I do is a fraction of what you could possibly do in any of these cities. There's, especially in a place like Vienna, I could probably spend a month here and still not get to do and see every activity. So it's one of those type of places, it's like Paris or London, I don't know, New York. It's definitely its own little mini universe for sure. So next time I come here, I have to spend a great deal of time here, I think. Be able to explore all the different museums, like everything. Yeah, but if you're watching my videos, please like, share, and subscribe, especially if you made it to this point. Like, I don't understand why you haven't subscribed to me yet, so really appreciate it. Thanks. I think the channel's actually starting to kind of take off now, thanks to people, doing subscribing and sharing and watching this stuff. I definitely want to continue doing this when I get back home, so this will definitely help me.